Hey guys, this is Neil Crawford, back founder of Anytime Soccer Training. So I'm sitting down with Coach Chris Cordargan. Yeah, I got it right. Who is the director of coaching, and you see the flag in the background, who actually is a director of coaching in Italy. And Chris, when you learn more about the Italian youth football system and how the league structures and work, I'm also going to invite you back on for an episode of the Inside Scoop, because what the Inside Scoop podcast does is we explore youth soccer around the world from the perspective of what would happen if our kid actually lived there. And so I'm going to invite you back on once you had an opportunity to learn everything about Italian youth soccer, and just ask you what your experience is like. How do you compare the kids you've seen in the States to the Italian kids that you see? What are the different levels you see culturally and all that kind of stuff? So I'm looking forward to that conversation. But the purpose of this very quick show is we're extending Anytime Soccer Training to your families for free for 6 months. They can try it out. They can use the content. And I'm just so excited that we're going to have this little mini partnership. And so what I want to do quickly is give you a quick demo of how it works. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I hope you can see it. We should get it. Okay. So this is the home page, right? The marketing site. Once you have created an account, and again, when they get the free account, it's no credit card, no auto renewals. So they just create an account with their email and their name, and they're good to go. Okay. So I want you guys as coaches and club directors to feel confident that you're not asking them to do anything that was going to compromise anything. It's just free. I know people don't hear free that often. Free. Okay. So once you create an account, there's a parent login and a player login. 9 times out of 10, you just need to remember your parent login, because what the parent login takes you to the players that are associated with your particular account. Now, this is a master account that I have, so I have a lot of players, but a parent account for them can hold up to 4 players. Okay. So you log in as the player. So I just logged in as my son, right? And his name is Adam Champ for this. And this brings you to the player dashboard. Okay. And the content in the player dashboard is broken down into sections. So when you join Anytime Soccer Training, you get a free lifetime membership to the free content. So after the 6 months, if they don't upgrade, and that's only $49 a year, if they don't upgrade, they'll still have access to well over 20 training videos that cover a cross section of the content. Okay, forever. But during the 6 months, they're going to get access to the over 1,000 training videos, and they're broken down into modules. We have fun games and 1v1 that you can play with your kid, and we're adding more and more of those each week. And this is a nuance point, but the way the 1v1 works, for example, is 100% follow along, and the video tells the parent sort of how to set it up. Very simple, and you can play 1v1 against your kid. But what makes it cool is it has a timer, it has the rest breaks, and there's different ways of scoring. And the program also asks them to use different feet. Okay. So the 1v1 and the soccer chasing, and we're adding more games, is the one area that I do recommend a parent watch at home first to make sure they're familiar with it. The best way to think of those is you're working with a PE teacher is going to tell you how to do it. So watch it at home first, so that way you're familiar with it. So then when they hit the field, they're ready to roll. I also recommend that parents invest in a Bluetooth speaker, because they're going to use their mobile phone. It's very mobile phone friendly. They're going to use their mobile phone, but that Bluetooth speaker just allows them to hear it. You know, it's pretty straightforward. 5-minute workouts are literally that. They're 5-minute short workouts across a selection of the content. So in my podcast, I talk about oftentimes I'll do a quick workout with my son, even though the main videos are short. In my podcast, I talk about I'll do a quick workout with them before practice or before games. And this is a quick way to get a 5-minute workout in that doesn't really make them tired, but does get those extra touches. And more importantly, it signals to them that if you want to be good at something, you got to do something a little different than everybody else. The essential training videos are what I would consider the quintessential videos and the quintessential moves from the cross section of all the different content. And I'm breezing through this. When you get into it, you'll see how it works. But let's say the way the juggling program works, for example, is there are nearly 200 juggling videos. It takes the person from a juggling record of 1 to a juggling record of infinity, right? But sometimes you don't want to find that video that matches exactly where you're at right then and there. So maybe you just go to the essential juggling, and there's 4 essential juggling drills that if you do these, if this is all you did, you would be well on your way to becoming masterful on the ball. So that's why you have, you juggling with different parts of the feet, different parts of the bodies. You're throwing some stalls in there. You're juggling with a size 1 ball. You're juggling with a tennis ball. All of these 4 encapsulate a lot of the juggling program in a very condensed manner. And then the same thing with ball mastery. You're doing all the essential ball mastery, line cone drills, and that kind of stuff. So then that brings me to the meat and potatoes of the program. And this is where I strongly recommend that parents start. It's the train like a pro section, and it has the thousands and thousands of videos and moves. And those videos are broken down into clear sections with really big buttons. And when you see this on your mobile phone, you're going to say, yeah, I understand why he designed it this way, because even a child can navigate the site. Okay. You're familiar with these terms. You're probably more familiar with them than me. You're director of coaching. Ball mastery, juggling, figure 8, 5-star dribbling is cones are set in a 5-star formation and like a diamond, and they dribble. So anyways, just to work on quick change direction with a lot of turns. Line cone dribbling, you're familiar with this. I'm adding more and more fitness. So fitness mixed with ball mastery, and we even have a jump rope series that we've added. But I'm going to throw the warm up into the fitness section once we produce it in about 2 weeks, where you do your full dynamic warm up. Okay. And then partner drills. So you obviously need to toss the ball. The kid uses their part of the body to get it back to you, kick it, that kind of stuff. But then there are a lot of passing drills that the parent can do with the kid. And the beauty of the program, Chris, is yes, a parent needs to pass the ball to the kid. Yes, that's understood. But are they going to go through a 5-minute video of the entire passing sequence, going from one touch with their right foot only, all the way to, passing with certain movements, right? In a step-by-step progression. And that's what we're really about. And again, I got to emphasize this, in 5-minute chunks with a video timer. And I'm going to show you that in a second. 2 cone. If this is all you did, this is the one where you have the 2 cones and you work on those lateral movements back and forth. Essential turns. I could go on and on. I don't want to oversell it, but 1v1, obviously dribbling, right? And we're adding new content every day as fast as we can do it. Cone, slalom. I have clinical finishing. I got to add a lot of content on the finishing, and but that one I have to design in a certain way. The parent needs to have a lot of balls. There's a lot that goes into working on the finishing. So that's the one where I got to add a lot of content to it. But I found with most parents, their kid needs to work on all these other fundamental skills before we go overboard with the finishing. And then the finishing is the one thing that people enjoy working on without any type of program. So I'm going to put that in there last. And then the rebounder, right? Just kicking the ball off the wall, right? So let me give you an example from the rebounder. I'm going to give you 3 quick examples of the rebounder and the juggling and then the ball mastery. You're going to see what I'm all about. So you just click in, right? And when you finish a video, if you haven't done the video, it'll have a red X. When you finish the video, it'll have a green check, okay? And I want to show you the first video in this series, just to show you how basic it starts. I don't know if you can hear my voice or how it works with the video on. But if you notice, let me pause it for a second. If you notice, we're starting one touch with the inside of the right foot. Very straightforward. Okay. And you notice they're doing it for 30 seconds. Then they'll have a 10-second rest and do it again. And if you notice here, the video is only 4 minutes. That's all intentional, Chris. That's intentional, man. You don't want to throw this stuff on your kids and have them out there 3 hours when you're initially trying to get them to buy in. And they're only doing that one move with their right foot. That's intentional. You're working with a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, forget about that, an 11-year-old. It is extremely frustrating to the parent. And I know when, if it's like only 3 moves and they always ask you, which move is next? You're like, aren't you watching the video? Well, this makes it where one move, you got one job. Then you're also working on that non-dominant foot, because the next one is one touch with the left foot. Then it's one touch, we alternate it, right? And then the way the program works, we call these intro videos where they're just working on that one skill. By working on that one skill for 4 minutes, that also negates that gives you the opportunity as the parent or the coach to talk to them about technique while they're just focused on that one skill. A video curriculum can't do it all, right? So yeah, you do have to help them, right? If they're kicking the ball one touch with their toe, you got to help them, right? And say, look, this is how you do it. But they're not trying to figure out what to do while you're teaching them how to do it. And I don't want to go too long, but then the way the curriculum works is then you do a review that combines all the skills you just learned. If you look at the length, you see how that's 9 minutes, right? Because it's combining all the skills you learn, and then you go to another review. And what's that review? I mean, another intro. Now it's 2 touch with the right foot, and it follows that same sort of sequence. And there are exceptions to the rule, Chris. There are exceptions to the rule. But I strongly recommend, unless your kid is signed with Manchester United, I strongly recommend you start at video 1 and work your way through the progression, because it adds, you know, now you're receiving the ball and you're doing the step over, you're doing the scissors and all that kind of stuff. But you cannot underemphasize the importance of the fundamentals. Even the aerial control. Now you kicking the ball off the wall with the inside and kicking it back with the inside of your foot. But we don't want the kids to get frustrated. So the first aerial control video is what? I'm just kicking the ball one time and catching it. Let's see when we get there. Hold on. Because I don't want, and I'll explain this in a second. Because when my son started with this stuff, my youngest one was 6. I don't want him trying to do aerial control, kicking it a million times, kicking as many times as he can, and trying to deal with it, and the ball flies everywhere. I just want him to be able to kick it one time and catch it and get used to that, because he has all his life to acquire these skills. He gets these early wins. He's not frustrated. I'm not yelling at him, and he's touching the ball with that inside of that foot. Then we go to the laces and so forth. Then we go, this is so much. Then we walk, it's just so much there. So anyways, so that's that. Okay. So then we get to continuous, where my older one is, where you can kick it continuously off the wall, but it's 2 to 5 juggles. And then eventually by the time you get to the end, you're going off the wall continuously. Okay. With different parts of your foot. Another area that we're really proud of, Chris, is the juggling routine. And I'm going to go on record to say, if your parents only use one module, head over heels, right? Advance. When you want to work with a kid to learn how to juggle at first, you want them to get early success and not get frustrated. So we start with bouncing the ball off your thigh and catching it. And even that, right, has, nearly 50 different 5-minute videos, right, of that.
Yeah.
Because you have to take that snail's pace progression. Then once you can bounce it off your thigh, now what do? You kick it in and catching it. This is all important for balance and coordination. I don't have to tell you that. Once you can kick it and catch it, then you start juggling, 3-4 times and catching it, working on that touch. Once you get there, you can do advanced, you can do the body, work it off your body. All of these have a lot of different videos in there. We're constantly adding more.
Right.
And then finally, once you get comfortable, advanced, you're off your body, you introduce different size balls. Okay. So we're very proud of that. The bread and butter is so much content, man. I don't want the video to be too long, but the bread and butter is the ball mastery. And we're constantly adding that, adding more and more ball mastery. And you mentioned that you cut your teeth in Corova, if I say it right. They were very influential in my thinking. This is obvious. Anybody who does this, they're the grandfathers of this stuff. And so I've taken a lot of that same concept and just made it and put it into bite-sized chunks. So you got a 6-year-old, you start off with toe taps, moving different ways. Then you get into TikToks where we talk, I think they call them bells or shuffles or whatever. And you go through every iteration of the various ball masteries. Then once you get through a lot of the ball mastery, then you start adding a cone to the ball mastery. Then you start adding feints to the ball mastery. And that's just the ball mastery. Finally, line cone dribbling. So it's just so much. And then one more I will throw out there is the 2 cones where you're doing those lateral movements. You don't need a lot of space to help your child. 4 minutes. You can do this in the living room. So I'll give you an example here. That's the first move. That's it. I need you to be able to move. And that actually takes 3 or 4. You don't just do one video and then I got it, right? Like that takes a while. So most of the kids won't get through all the content. This is built for a lifetime of training. But you just master that side that, people have different names for, like a croqueta, side shuffle, whatever. I try to come up with a taxonomy that would resonate with them and would be easy for them to remember. So in this case, I'm calling it push, stop, as opposed to croqueta, because if you don't know what a croqueta is, then it doesn't mean anything to you. But everybody understands the term push and stop the ball, push, stop the ball, moving side to side. So we're going to add a reward system to the program. That's going to come out in about a month. But right now, I'm actually focused on content, right? I'm really focused on content, and I'm focused on making the program accessible for families who have zero background in soccer but want to help their child train and are committed to working with them. And so I'm going to do an article for you guys to show you how I use the program and how I recommend you use it. I'm going to do that as well. But for the folks who have made it to the end of this video, I recommend you start with the 1000 touch, the juggling, figure 8, you only need 2 cones, the 2 cone ball mastery or midfield escape, and the rebounder. And the reason the rebounder is so important, for obvious reason, you're just kicking the ball off the wall and receiving it. And your child really can do that one by themselves. So Chris, this is Neil Crawford. I'm going to stop sharing. No, I'm going to log out here. And then I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Do you have any questions before I let you hop?
Nope, I'm good. And then the only thing was my last name is Cadogan, not Cardogan. So it's all right. It happens.
So Chris,
But
I'm from South Carolina, man. I'm a country boy, and I just mess up air. Oh man, it's nothing but love. You lived in North Carolina, so you know the deal. Your name probably got butchered
a lot.
I apologize for that. I really do. I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. But anyways, man, so it's all love there, and I'm so sorry about that. Okay.
It's okay. No, this stuff looks great, and I can see the progression, and I think this will be a great tool for me to help the kids at my club improve and get better if they're motivated to do so. So I want to make sure this is something that they know they have as a resource.
Yeah, the key is the parent has to be motivated. There's no magical product out there. And if anybody tells you there's a fun way to get skill acquisition, they're lying to you.
Yep.
What you can do is make the process enjoyable overall. And that's why we have the 101 fun games. And that's where the parent also can give their child some challenges and rewards. And we're going to build some challenges in. But at the end of the day, the parent has to be committed and the child has to have that requisite interest in soccer, and then it's a wonderful tool to help their skills blossom. And I will say to your coaches out there, I have a sort of nonprofit training clinic And you can use this application in your training environments as well for that early ball mastery session you do before you go into the tactical stuff. I do it all the time. And then once they do the technical stuff unopposed with the video, then you as the coach have time to set up your other part of your training, and then you guys are going to transition into more of an opposed environment that you just can't capture completely in video, obviously. So, hey, Chris, thank you so much, man. Thank you for watching. And I'm looking for, by next week, I'm going to give you guys a special code to give you 6 months for free. And I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Nice to meet you, Neil.
All right. So let me stop sharing here.